Hi, so today's Thursday therapy is pre-recorded, so we're not going live today, I'm afraid, because I'm away, but I didn't want you to miss out. So here is something I prepared earlier that I am posting for you at our normal 10 a.m. time. And it's something that I made a little bit of a teaser on the other day because it's really powerful and important, both of them, whichever way. So just stop what you're doing for a second and just take a moment to consider. What if I told you that this dark moment that you're in right now, whether that be the frustration, the heartbreak, the uncertainty, is actually shaping you into the person who will one day hold your baby in your arms? Because that thought, that understanding has carried people through wars, through grief, through loss, and through the hardest times in history. And the truth is, you can't see the stars without the dark. And I love that quote. I love it. It's so powerful. Because you can't see the stars in broad daylight. You don't notice the light when things are easy. It's only in the darkness that you start to see the things that were always there, but they're guiding us forward. So today we're not talking about positive thinking per se. We're talking about the truth of contrast, the power of perspective, and how you can navigate this tough time with real tools without pretending that everything's okay when it's clearly not. So, shall we get into it? The nature of contrast is what drives everything. You can't have good without bad. You can't have light without dark. You can't have fast without slow. Nothing exists if there isn't a balance to it, if there isn't that contrast. Have you ever noticed how nature is built on contrast? Growth without rest, strength without struggle. Literally everything follows this rhythm. Can you think of anything that doesn't when you actually start thinking about it? But the thing is, when we go through something that is really painful, like infertility, like miscarriage, like waiting for answers, like failed treatments, you know what it's like? Your first instinct is to resist that darkness, to say this shouldn't be happening. But if we start thinking about this as though the darkness is part of something bigger, if this phase is building something in you that you can't yet see, then it becomes just like the stars that only appear when the sky is dark. When we start to understand that, and that you can't have anything without contrast to it, like without dark, fast without slow, whatever, it becomes easier to understand that this is not going to last forever. It can't last forever because there has to be a light where there's dark. There has to be. That is just the natural order of how the entire universe works. Therefore, we know it will change. And when it does, you will not be the same person that you were before. You'll be stronger, you'll be wiser, you'll be clearer than you ever imagined. And this isn't just philosophy, I'm not just philosophizing here. This is actual science. Neuroscience shows that humans grow the most through challenge. Our brains rewire themselves to handle difficulty. That was in Nature Neuroscience in 2021. Women who go through fertility challenges and develop resilience tools show higher success rates in treatment. Because don't forget, your mind, your brain, controls your body. They have lower levels of anxiety, even before pregnancy, and that makes everything way more successful. That was featured in Human Reproduction in 2019. So this isn't about just relax and it'll be fine, because that's what they're telling you, and that's not the case. But it is about training your brain to work with you, not against you. Now, I'm not going to tell you to just think positive. That is one of my, and was always one of my personal gripes. It's nowhere near as simple as that, because if we could just think positive and relax, everything would always be fine, and it's not. But when you're in the middle of a storm, you need useful advice. So I want to give you something that is absolutely real. So we're going to do a perspective shift exercise here. So this isn't just a mental trick. This is based on cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. That is one of the most effective ways to rewire the way that we see challenges. So grab a pen and some paper, or use your phone, whatever. And I want you to just take a second to write down the one thing, just the one thing right now that feels the hardest in your fertility journey. So just take a second and write that down. So maybe it could be another failed fertility cycle. It could be the waiting is breaking me. It could be feel like I'm losing hope. Just write it down, whatever it is that comes to mind. When you've done that, just ask yourself, what has this challenge forced me to either learn, change, or both? And be brutally honest. There's no fluff. This is just for you. So maybe it's forced you to finally put your needs first, to reevaluate relationships. Maybe you're stronger than you ever thought you could be. Even in the darkest times, something is happening beneath the surface. So write down the one thing that this whole fertility challenge has given you. This one thing that this fertility challenge has given you. This is your star. Your star in the dark. Your star in the night. It's the proof that even in the worst moments, something is shifting. Something very real is shifting. So now imagine yourself 1 year from now. And imagine that you've made it through this in whatever way that looks like to you. Maybe you're pushing twins around the park. And imagine looking back on yourself right now from that future. So what would you tell that future version of you? Maybe write it down. It could be, it won't break you. Or keep going because it's coming. It's on its way. Your baby is waiting for you. Maybe it is you're not alone. You're not alone in this struggle, in this journey that you're on. Whatever it is that you've written down, the voice of you in the future that's telling you that is the voice that you need to listen to. Not the fear and not the doubt. Because if you listen to that voice, the one that's in touch with how things are really going in your body, then you'll start training your brain to see this moment not as an ending, as a finite, like perhaps some of the doctors are telling you, but as a turning point. Turning point where you can change things and you're in control and you have your power and you have your fertility. If you did this exercise and something shifted inside your brain, you have literally rewired in this moment a pattern of hopelessness into a pattern of growth and possibility. And it's this that builds resilience. Because it's the resilience you need to move forward effectively, not the gripping and holding on, because that's tense. And that works against your fertility. But the resilience is what powers you naturally, almost magnetically, to move forward. So we're not ignoring the hard stuff. We're not pretending it's fine. But by saying and by knowing that this is hard, but it is shaping me, and knowing when to shift into that mindset as well, because once you've done it once, you can do it a million times with a million different things. That's when you don't just survive this journey. You're not just getting through things. You're transforming it. And it's that transformation that changes everything. So let's make this practical then. Here's how you can start using that perspective every single day. When you hit a tough moment, number one, pause. It could be the smallest thing. A lesson, a moment of clarity, deeper connection with your partner. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for the darkness. Where is that star in this moment? Looking for those good things, finding your star, because it will be there. Number two is the 1 year journal. Every time you start feeling like you can't do this, write a note to yourself from your future self a year from now. Remind yourself this will change, because it will. It has to. It's the order of the universe, of the energy, the way everything is structured in the world. I'm looking out now. You can't have a tall building without a small building, because it's not tall without the contrast of small. So, in that 1 year journal, every time you feel like you can't do it, write that note from your future self. Remind yourself it will change, because it has to. This is shaping you to be the mother that your child that's coming needs, and this is not forever. Now, the third part of this is really important, and this is to find the people who remind you of the stars. Surround yourself with the people who uplift you. So if you're in communities where negativity is spiraling, step away. Step away and find spaces that help you see beyond this moment. So that could be things like these negative online groups which are meant to be supportive, and actually they just drag you down. If you are looking for some support, I have a free private group which you can join. So you can message me for that if you want to. But it can just as easily be family or friends that don't understand. Even if they're trying, they just don't get it. So step away from them and find people who uplift you, who are your stars. Because you're changing. You can't expect everyone else to change with you, because they're on their own paths. So what's the one thing, I guess, that I want you to take from today? And it's so, so, so important. It's that darkness isn't the enemy. It is the contrast that allows you to see the light, the star, the future. So you can practice a 3-minute perspective shift daily. You can do it routinely like that if you want to. If it suits you better, you can just do it as and when you get that moment and you need to just bring this in. Even if you don't have anything that needs shifting this week, do yourself the favour of writing yourself a letter from your future self. The person you are a year from now when everything's worked out. And then in those moments where you feel lost, just ask yourself, where is the star? Because I promise you, even on the hardest nights, those stars are still there, even when they're covered by the cloud. One day you will look back and you'll realize that this journey made you stronger than you ever imagined. So that's my words of wisdom for today. It's really powerful. I've seen this work so many times with my ladies over the years. So thank you for showing up for yourself today and being open and putting yourself in the mindset where you can also be positively affected by this way of training the way that your brain works. Now, I'll see you next Thursday and I'll be live again. But until then, please just keep looking for the stars.